webinar on NHS UK career orientation for radiographers. So it's totally worth it to give it a thought of advancing career by exploring the available opportunities and undoubtedly getting to work with one of the world's best renowned healthcare systems. The NHS UK is one among such wonderful opportunities. So before getting into the details of today's webinar, I'll give you a brief orientation or a brief about the organization Sims Healthcare Private Limited. So, as Mr. Sugan has already been talking about what Sims Healthcare is all about. So here, when we meet and interact with people and talk about our the placement opportunities for nurses, doctors, and radiographers, people do disguise us as a consultancy or an agency. Here, I would like to make a point: we are not a typical consultancy or an agency. Instead, we are a healthcare company, and we do deliver healthcare services through various verticals. The first one is MEDED. I think MEDED is a word many of you might have come across, where we use it all over our banners and brochures. So this is the education, training, and placement vertical, where we provide training and placement for all the healthcare professionals to empower and to make them competent enough. The next vertical of SIMS is healthcare IT. As you all know, IT is a backbone for any of the organization. Like, we have developed our own IT platform, and we have in-house resources to support. We have in-house resources to develop a software where we can manufacture innovative medical devices to support telemedicine solutions. We have a Center for Innovation and Excellence at SIMS Healthcare Hyderabad. And the third vertical is Med 360 and Ozone Hospitals. So Med 360 it's a digital platform where all primary healthcare services will be provided. And Ozone Hospitals, it's a multi-speciality NABH accredited hospital situated in Hyderabad, where all the medical services will be provided. And to present this beautiful vision, I take privilege to introduce our founders, Mr. B.V. Satyasai Prasad, Chairman, who is a former industrialist, and Deepti C. Gadam, the Managing Director, who worked in the NHS UK for about 11 years as a clinical commissioner. So what MEDED, what we do under the banner MEDED. So we have international placement courses, as Mr. Sugan was have just briefed. Like, we do placements for nurses, doctors, and radiographers as well. And for that, we also provide training for IELTS and OET for nurses and doctors. And we have American Heart Association courses, namely basic life support and advanced cardiac life support. And we own an international training center at Hyderabad. And we are into skill development courses, namely GDA, which is General Duty Assistant, and HHA, Home Health AD. So we work in association with Health Education England, Skill India, DDU, GKY, American Heart Association, Specialist Language Courses, Ozone Hospitals, Healthcare Sector Skill Council, and National Skill Development Corporation, which is NSDC. So apart from these, we also involve in various training activities, such as every year we do train IAS officers at MCR HRD, Marichenna Reddy Institute of Human Resource Development at Hyderabad. We provide this training for BLS, CPR, and first aid training, and we also involve in a lot of community trainings where we educate and we impart skill training for the people in the community on the basic first aid and CPR training as well. So, and we have been presenting or giving orientation sessions through various nursing universities about UK opportunities for nursing graduates. So this is, in a nutshell, this is what we do at SIMS MEDED. So these are our brochures. So where there are placement opportunities for radiographers, and I'll be talking about in detail about the process, what is the eligibility criteria, what are the benefits in the further slides. So here I would like to talk about the recent recruitment we had in the month of February 2020. So we have organized interviews with Leeds NHS Trust, where a panel of six people have been to Hyderabad, and the interviews has took place in Taj Deccan, which is in Hyderabad. So 30 candidates were shortlisted, and out of 30, 15 candidates were selected in the interview initially. And out of 6 candidates, we have, out of 15 candidates, we have 6 selected candidates from Middle East who are, yet to take their second round of interview. And due to this pandemic, as we all know, things have fallen apart. And 3 candidates were already issued offer letters, and they are in the stage of certificate of sponsorship. And unfortunately, the 6 candidates were kept on hold to take up an interview with other trust. So here I would like to share one of our experience in the recent recruitment that happened. So many of the candidates, like I would rather say all of the candidates were technically very sound, very knowledgeable, but there are candidates who lack communication skills, interview skills. Like there are instances where the panel repeated the question like at least 3 to 4 times, where in spite of repetition, there are candidates who couldn't follow the question and answer that. And due to that, there are candidates who might have not been selected for the recruitment that happened in the month of February 2020. So we have designed a special approach for all those candidates who require a speaking language skill or a speaking training. That will be you'll be get to know about in the coming slides. So what is the main objective of this UK placement program? So to support enthusiastic candidates to meet their career aspirations to work abroad for better earning and learning. And towards this, SIMS identified UK as primarily as a potential country for all Indian radiographers to relocate, gain professional knowledge, and for better earnings. So I think this is the slide you all must be waiting for. So what are the benefits of working in the UK? So the starting salary will be between £28,000 to £36,644, which will come around 2.2 lakh Indian rupees up to 2.9 lakh Indian rupees per month. And the position is a band 6 radiographer. And the type of employment is a full-time permanent employment contract with an optional pension scheme. So your employer will be taking care of booking your flight tickets. And once you move to the UK, we do provide first 3 months of free accommodation through SIMS. And the candidate who has HCPC registration, who have cleared IELTS, will be provided an interview and offer letter within 2 weeks after the interview. So I'll also be talking about what is this HCPC about, what is the HCPC registration, what are the ways of getting HCPC registration. So I think most of you must be aware that HCPC is nothing but the Health and Care Professional Council of UK. Like for example, if you have studied your BSc MIT here from India, you might have got a registration, or you might have registered and got a license from Indian Society of Radiographers or Society of Indian Radiographers. So that is where you are registered in a professional body to practice as a radiographer. Similarly, in the same way, if you have to work in the UK as a radiographer, you have to get a registration done where the license will be provided by an organization called Health and Care Professional Council. So we'll talk about the process in the coming slides. So yeah, HCPC fee refund. So I'll tell you how much is the fee for the HCPC registration and all. So certificate of sponsorship at no cost. There is an additional pay for the shift differential and overtime. So 27 days annual leave, excluding public holidays and weekends. There is professional development and educational opportunities available. And through SIMS, you will get a full support with your HCPC registration and the soft skills training and pre-departure training. And complete visa guidance will be given through SIMS Medit, and onboarding support will also be provided. So I request all of you, if you have any queries, you can please make a note of it, and at the end we have an open forum where you can pose all your questions. So now, what is the eligibility criteria to work as a radiographer in the UK? So coming to the qualification, the candidate must be having at least a 2-year diploma in radiography, or a general BSc plus 2-year diploma in radiography, or BSc in medical imaging technology, or a diploma in medical imaging technology. So candidate with any of these qualifications are eligible to apply for these UK opportunities. And coming to the age group, the preferable age group will be below 50 years. And experience, a minimum of 2 years post qualification experience is mandatory. And yeah, the next comes the IELTS, where if you want to work in an English speaking country, and we are from a non English speaking country where our first language is not in English, in that case the candidate has to prove their standard of proficiency, where he has to meet the English language requirements. That is where IELTS comes in. So if a candidate has to give IELTS, the required score should be overall 7 with no module less than 6.5. And there is something called UK NARIC. So this UK NARIC is nothing but they will just, based on your degree taught in English, they will compare the level of English taught at your degree level, and they'll compare it to the CEFR level B1, B2, or C1, and they will provide you a certificate whether you will you are you will be meeting the English language requirements or not. I will also explain you in detailed process of what is UK NARIC about, and how to apply and all. So, and there is also another process to get HCPC registration without IELTS and without UK NARIC, and that is where a candidate must produce the evidence of minimum 14 years of continuous education was in English. So I will also talk about this in detail. And the candidate who has HCPC registration with a standard HCPC number is also eligible for the opportunities. So as I was telling about the recruitment that happened in the month of February 2020, so that was the opportunity given for all the HCPC registered candidates. So HCPC registration is the first priority, to apply for any UK recruitment process. So let us get into what is this UK NARIC all about. So UK NARIC is a designated national agency for the recognition and comparison of the international qualification and skills. It performs its functions on behalf of the UK government. So if you visit the UK NARIC website, there you can see a list of services, about 6 to 7 services that they provide for all the overseas candidates. And in order to get a certificate for the standard of proficiency, the candidate has to choose English language assessment service. So what is this English language assessment service is about? So English language assessment service must be it is available, or it will be helpful for all those candidates who would wish to, or who would want to work in the UK, study in the UK, or who would want to get a professional registration. So as I told you, your degree taught here in India will be compared to the CEFR level of the UK, and they will check whether you will meet the requirements of B1, B2, or C1, so that your English will be equivalent to the IELTS score or not, will be checked and assessed, and based on that you will be provided a certificate, which is UK NARIC certificate. And why you have to take a UK NARIC certificate? Because as you all know, in order to get the HCPC registration done, you have to meet the English language requirements first. And this English language requirements, if you do not wish to go for IELTS, there is another way through UK NARIC, where your English assessment will be done and you will get a certificate. And this UK NARIC certificate, with this UK NARIC certificate, you can apply for, or you can apply for the HCPC registration. So how to apply for this UK NARIC certificate? So you have to just log into the website, create account, start the application. When you start the application, you have to choose the services. As I said you earlier, there will be around 6 to 7 list of services, out of which you will be selecting English language assessment. And then you will be directed to the next step, where you have to add your qualifications. And that is where you have to upload all the scanned documents of your qualifications. Then you will be taken to the next step, which is delivery is nothing but, here you have to provide your contact information and your address information, and you should also select the type of courier you choose. If it's an international courier, there is a different price, and if the courier within if the courier within UK, so there are difference in the type of courier services. And once you have done that, you will be redirected to the payment gateway, where you have to be paying the fee. Now you might be wondering, like, what are the documents and how much is the payment? How do I do that? So here comes the slide. So the documents that you must be requiring is a copy of, or scan, or of your final degree certificate, all your academic transcripts from your affiliate colleges. And you should also provide a copy or scan of medium of instruction letter which tells that all your education, your degree completely was taught in English. And you have to also produce a translation document in case if the issued or degree certificate or the academic transcripts were not in English. And how much does this UK NARIC certificate cost? So to apply for this English language assessment, the cost is around 60 pounds, where it will come around 5,400 rupees if we calculate in Indian rupees. And there are fast track services as well. For 24-hour service, you have to be paying around 20,000, and for a 48-hour service you will be paying around 14,000 Indian rupees. And within once you have created an account, you have uploaded all your documents of all the scanned copies, your transcripts, your medium of instruction letters, everything, and have done the payment. So you can, Eric, they will take minimum a month, which means 3 to 4 weeks after once they receive all your documents, after which you will be issued a UK NARIC certificate, which will be stating the level of your English language requirements. So as I was telling, apart from UKVI, IELTS and UK NARIC, there is another method to go for HCPC registration. So in the previous slide, I would like to, about the UK NARIC, I would like to also give you information that, so once you have received your UK NARIC certificate, along with the UK NARIC certificate, you have to also be filling the international candidate application form. And also there is something called course information form. So along with these two forms and the UK NARIC certificate, you will be submitting all these 3 documents to the HCPC, Health and Care Professional Council, for the HCPC registration. That is one way of getting the HCPC registration. And here, as I was telling, HCPC registration without IELTS or without UK NARIC. So for this, the candidate must prove their standard of proficiency by providing the letters from their respective primary, secondary, and degree colleges. So if you could remember, in the eligibility criteria itself, I have told you that candidate must produce a continuous 14 years of education that has taught in English. So for which he need to get the medium of instruction letters from his respective colleges. And along with that, candidate has to also download the international candidate application form, where he has to be filling all his details about his personal details, qualification details, experience details, English language requirements if he has any. So all these details must be filling by the candidate in the international application form. After that, there is another application which is called course information. So what is this course information form? So in the course information form, for example, if you are a BSc MIT, you have graduated as bachelors in medical imaging technology. So in the course information form, you have to give in detailed year-wise information, like in first year, what were the subjects you were taught, and how many hours of theory and how many practical hours you have undergone, and how have your methods of assessment has done for your first year. Similarly, in the same way, you have to provide the information for all the 4 years, like whatever the subjects you have studied, based on that, the theory and practical hours and the assessment methods that you have been assessed, and based on that you will be given the degree. So along with these, there are few documents that the candidate has to be notarized and by a gazetted officer or a notary, with a signature and contact number and seal. So here comes the address proof, ID proof is nothing but the passport, all the marks memos, the transcripts, the degree certificate, if you have a degree and also post graduation, so both, all your course completion certificates, your experience certificates from your respective employers. And even in the experience certificates, you have to provide, or you have to show that all your communications at work were in English. And your registration certificate, whether you say you have ISRT registration or IART registration or SIR, Society of Indian Radiographers registration. So, and make sure that all your registrations are up to date. If there are any renewals pending, make sure you apply for a renewal and you get a renewal certificate. So all these documents along with the international candidate application and the course information documents, the candidate has to be posting it to the provided address, UK address, and also the same copies of the scanned documents should be mailed to HCPC through international at hcpc-uk.org. So once after posting the documents to the HCPC, once the HCPC team has received your documents, you will receive a confirmation mail from the HCPC that your documents have been received. And after 4 to 6 weeks, the candidate will receive a mail to pay the scrutiny fee of about 45,880 rupees online in the HCPC portal. So they will take minimum 3 to 4 months to to do all the verification checks, after which the candidate will receive a satisfactory mail from the HCPC team, post which your HCPC number will be provided to you from the HCPC council. So here in the international application form, so I was talking about the international application form earlier. So in the international application form, in under your employment references, you have to be giving the references, your reference details. So the HCPC will get in touch with all your references to find out whether the details of your previous employment. So as a part of the verification process. So during that, you have to make sure that your referee will respond on time without any delays. If there is any delay from the referee's end, the application process will be delayed beyond 3 to 4 months to get your HCPC number. So the program, what we do at SIMS. So we have training for basic English, IELTS, and soft skills and pre-departure training. So for IELTS training, we have residential and online training. And we provide placement suitable to the candidates based on their qualification and experience. So guidance for all HCPC application process will be given to prior to the interview for all the candidates who would want to apply through SIMS. And the cross-cultural familiarization training program for all the aspired candidates. So we have another, special note by our English language trainer about the basic English course. After my presentation, you'll get to know the details more and all our experiences during that. So what is the process all about? So imagine you have got your HCPC registration, you have got your HCPC number, and you have approached SIMS. So how the process goes? So first thing is you need to be registering through with SIMS, where you will be signing the consent and registration forms. So after which you will be offered an interview with the employer. Once you are done with the interview, the next comes the offer letter issuances and acceptances. And once you accept your offer letter, within a month, your employer will send you the certificate of sponsorship. So what is the certificate of sponsorship? Certificate of sponsorship is nothing but your employer will send you a letter stating that you will be provided employment for a period of 3 years under Tier 2 visa. So that is the certificate of sponsorship. And once you received your certificate of sponsorship, next comes the visa application process. So as I was telling earlier in the benefits, that the certificate of sponsorship is of no cost. And for the visa application, here you have to fill an online application, visa application for Tier 2 visa. So during this visa application, there will be visa payment, and there is also something called health surcharge. So in order to do these payments, your employer will send you the credit card details, which you will be utilizing it for the payment for visa application and also for the health surcharge. And even for the Tier 2 visa, here comes the English language requirement. They will also check for your English language requirements. That is where UK VI IELTS comes in. So if you already have a UK NARIC certificate, you don't have to be sitting for the UK VI IELTS. Or if you doesn't have a UK NARIC certificate, you have to sit for the UK VI IELTS. So what is this UK VI IELTS? So it is nothing but UK visa and immigration IELTS. So at the time of the visa process for the tier 2 visa, the candidate has to be proving their English language requirements. That is where they have to sit for this UK VA IELTS, where the candidate has to score an overall 5. So, and once you meet all the requirements and once your pre-visa checks are done, and during the pre-visa checks, you will be asked to provide the police clearance, the medical fitness certificate, and also the character evidence certificate, which you have to be, sending to your respective employers. Post which, once you have received your visa letter, so once you apply for the visa, once you have done the payment, and you get an appointment for all your documents verification, so you will receive your visa letter within 4 to 6 weeks. That is when your employer will contact you via mail. They'll ask for your the possible flying dates and your nearest airport, so that based on that they will they will book a one way flight ticket for you, and they will send all the your ticket and the details via email. And once you move to the UK, the Sims relocation team will meet you in the airport. They'll take you to the accommodation. They'll help you in doing all your biometrics and also opening a bank account. The support will be provided for all our candidates through Sims. And as I said, you will be getting first 3 months of free accommodation once you move to the UK, where you have to be taking care only of your food expenses, and after 3 months you have to be even taking care of your own accommodation as well. And if you would wish to take your family members to the UK, you can take them within 6 months. You can also apply for them, and you can take them to the UK. And you might be getting a doubt. So I was provided employment only for a period of 3 years under tier 2 visa. So what about after 3 years? So if you after 3 years, if you would want to stay back in the UK and work and live in the UK, your employer will help you in extending your visa for about 2 years. And if you work for a country, if you live and work for a continuous 5 years in the UK, that is where you are eligible to be a resident of the UK. That is how you can settle or stay back in the UK. So life in the UK, as we all know, the UK has been described as a cultural superpower, and London has been described as the world's cultural and financial capital. So most of the people from the overseas, you uh, will prefer one of the destinations. The one of the best destinations they prefer is the UK, because of the infrastructure and the facilities available. So you will get all the free medical care. So here I would like to talk about NHS. So NHS, it was founded in the year 1948, and the NHS stands for National Health Services. So majority of the healthcare in the UK will be taken care or will be provided through this NHS. And it will provide it, or it has started with a motto that to provide free healthcare services to all the citizens of the UK. And this is one of the best systems in the world, actually. So there are good entertainment facilities as well. There are entitlement benefits for the who work in the NHS. Coming to the education, you can also opt for continuous education programs alongside working in the hospitals. And if you take your family, your kids will have free education there in the UK. And you can experience diverse cultures, and explore the opportunity of meeting new people, experiencing the different cultures, and you can explore the whole country. And also there are various opportunities to start a healthy lifestyle habits. So coming to the fee details, so UK NARIC, if you choose UK NARIC for HCPC registration, and also for your to prove your English language requirement during your visa process, that is where you have to be paying 5,700 Indian rupees. Or if you choose to sit UK VI IELTS during your visa process, as you might have already applied for HCPC process, or you are in the process, or you have already got the HCPC number. In that case, you have to sit for UK VI IELTS, and the cost will be 18,000 rupees, and the score you need to be getting is an overall 5. And as I mentioned earlier, HCPC application process is around 45,880 rupees. So here I would like to make a point that we, since Meded, we do not charge any processing fee from any of the candidate. So the only fees the candidate has to be paying from their pockets is for their application, towards their application and towards their English language requirements. So we have come to the end of the session. So if you have any doubts or if you would want to start your process, you can contact us. You can. I request all of you to take a screenshot of this, where you can save our numbers, email address, and if you are interested in the basic English training, you can definitely visit our website mededskills.com.